will close out the 2022 campaign against the Haverford College Fords in the last game of the season. Swarthmore comes in with a record of 8-7 overall, 2-5 in the Centennial Conference. Meanwhile, Haverford has a record of 5-8 and 1-5 against the Centennial Conference. We'll tell you more about the teams and get you set up for the match in just a little bit, but it is Senior Day, so we'll turn things over to public address announcer Matthew Judge for the Senior Day celebration.
Good afternoon, fans, and welcome to Clothier Field Stadium on the campus of Swarthmore College for today's Centennial Conference men's lacrosse game between the Haverford College Fords and your Swarthmore College Garnet. If I would have your attention, we would like to honor this year's senior class and their parents. Turn your attention to the field as we recognize the class of 2022 for their contributions to both Swarthmore College and the men's lacrosse team. Number 1, Jack Baloo. Jack is accompanied by his parents Beth and Robert Baloo, his brother Cole, and his grandparents Bill and Janice Stout. Jack majors in economics and minors in mathematics. He will work as an analyst at Kane Mitter and Associates after graduation. Number 3, Will Drake. Will is accompanied by his parents Mimi and Tom Drake and his brother George. Will majors in economics and minors in history and classics. After graduation, Will plans to work for Vanguard in their Emerging Leader Development Program. Number 10, Luke Ingersoll. Luke is accompanied by his parents Jen and Dan Ingersoll and siblings Chris and Keely. Luke majors in economics and political science and plans to work as an investment banking analyst at AGC Partners. Number 2, Dean Ladrito. Dean is accompanied by his parents Gary and Susan Ladrito and brothers Chase and Brad. Dean majors in economics and mathematics with an emphasis on statistics. After graduation, Dean plans to work as a finance analyst with JP Morgan Chase. Number 16, Liam Maniscalco. Liam is accompanied by his parents John Maniscalco and Mary Teslick, and his brother Finn. Liam majors in political science and economics and will work as an associate consultant at Bain in San Francisco after graduation. Number 24, Joel Paulson. Joel is accompanied by his parents John and Pat Paulson and his sister Olivia. Joel majors in educational studies and political science and will attend the University of Michigan Law School after graduation. Number 8, Ben Shafer. Ben is accompanied by his parents Cameron and Jennifer Shafer and his twin Ian Shafer. Ben majors in history and minors in classical studies and peace and conflict studies and will take a gap year before attending law school. Number 29, Quinn Seavold. Quinn is accompanied by his parents Laurel and Alfred Seavold. Quinn majors in honors economics and minors in honors psychology and plans to work in dispute advisory services at FTI Consulting after graduation. Number 33, Will Vespel. Will is accompanied by his parents Mark Vespel and Lindy Fisher. Will majors in economics and minors in psychology and peace and conflict studies. After graduation, Will plans to work at AGC Partners as an investment banking analyst. Number 34, Rob Whitstrom. Rob is accompanied by his parents Mark and Mary Pat Whitstrom and sister Bridget. Rob majors in history and peace and conflict studies and plans to work for the Jesuit Volunteer Corps Northwest as a youth tutor after graduation. Let's hear it for the class of 2022. Fans, at this time we'll be presenting our national anthem.
So once again, welcome back to Clothe Your Field. Swarthmore and Haverford getting set for a Centennial Conference matchup, and the Garnet ready to play their final game of 2022. As I said before Senior Day, Swarthmore comes in with a record of 8-7 overall, 2-5 in the Centennial, and in their last time out, they were defeated by the Bears of Ursinus College on April 20th here at Clothe Your Field by the score of 17-9. Quinn Sievold led the way for the Garnet with 3 goals and 1 assist. Meanwhile, Carter Strach added 2 goals, 1 assist, and a pair of ground balls, and Ben Shafer added 2 goals and 2 ground balls. Shane Nashin started the game in goal for the Garnet. He made 6 saves in the opening half. Jack Baloo came in in relief of Nashon for the second half. He made 3 saves in the final 30 minutes, and we'll see Baloo in goal, getting the start on Senior Day this afternoon for Swarthmore. And in that game, going back to Ursinus, it was 9-6 going into halftime, but then the Bears came out and rattled off 4 straight goals to extend the gap to 13-6 midway through the third, and it was just too much for the Garnet to overcome. Meanwhile, for Haverford, they're 5-8 overall, and they've hit a bit of a rough patch in conference play as they fell to Muhlenberg 19-8, and it's their 3rd straight defeat. And in that game, Sean Mawat Larson, the team's leading scorer, led the way once again with a pair of goals in the defeat. And that was a game that got away from them late in the first quarter. It was 2-2 when Andrew Arth scored his 15th goal of the season for the Fords. But then the Mules ran off 8 straight goals and went into halftime leading by the count of 10-2. So taking a look at the starters, first for Swarthmore. In goal, as I said, it'll be the senior Jack Baloo. He's playing in his 7th game of the season. He has a 1-0 record, a goals against average of 13.62, and a save percentage of .509. He's making his 2nd start of the season. Meanwhile, he's joined on the field at the back by Dean Ladrito, Will Drake, Henry Collier, and Alex Strach. In the midfield, Luke Ingersoll and Joel Paulson. Up front, Ben Shafer, Carter Strach, and Michael Hardiman. And we are underway here from Clothier Field. And the faceoff won by Paulson, and the Garnet picking up the ground ball was Luke Ingersoll. And it'll be a great battle at the Faceoff X this afternoon. 2 of the better men in the Centennial Conference doing battle. Joel Paulson entering today at 62.7%. Meanwhile, he's squaring off with Teddy Carlin, who he did battle with on that opening faceoff. Shot and a goal, it's Von Mabs. And the Garnet need just 24 seconds to get on the board. So as I was just trying to tell you about Teddy Carlin, we'll have to see him once again as Mabs strikes for his 40th of the year. 1-0 Swarthmore, and a fast start for the Garnet here on Senior Day. And as I said, Carlin, the sophomore from New York, coming back out. He's won 57% of his faceoffs this year, nearly 60% in conference play. And here's Carlin winning the faceoff and getting the ground ball for the Fords as they try to work the ball down low on offense for the first time. It's Swarthmore in the home white with the maroon numbers, and Haverford going with the black jerseys today from home, away from home, with the red shorts and red numbering. They do have red jerseys, which I believe they wore against Muhlenberg, but today against Swarthmore, going with the road black. As I said, leading up to this game, the man to watch for Haverford, it's Sean Mawat Larson, number 32. The senior leads the team in scoring with 29 goals. Right now, shot clock down to approaching 30. And here's Brinster trying to drive left. It's forced way back toward midfield. Great defense by Collier. And Haverford has to reset now with 20 to shoot. And here is Mawat Larson. His pass for Brinster hits the turf. Ground ball scooped up by Alex Strach. So great defense early. And now a turnover by Strach behind the goal. And we'll get a whistle against Haverford. So the Garnet catch a break. It's turned back over to the Garnet. And Baloo will start play up once again. So Haverford has come in and dropped 3 straight against solid competition in the Centennial Conference. I mean, the entire league is pretty solid, but in their last 3, they fell to Ursinus 14-12, Washington College 15-12, and Muhlenberg 19-8. And they've dropped 5 of their last 6, all of them in conference games. Here's Ryan Chambliss seeing the ball for the first time, taking it behind the goal. Now behind for Shafer, one of 10 seniors honored before this game by Swarthmore. Chambliss wants to drive toward the middle, forced behind the goal once again, and has to give the ball up. Shot clock down to 21. Here's Mabs, the goal scorer for Swarthmore, trying to get a hand free, swims in, shot off, goes wide. Shot clock down to 10. In goal for Haverford this afternoon, it's Andy Tiso, a 6'1" sophomore from Charlotte, Vermont. He's one of 3 goalies that Haverford have rotated in throughout the season. That pass hits Chambliss in the head, and Tiso's there to get the ground ball. So Tiso's playing in his 5th game of the season, making his 3rd start. He's 1-1 with a goals against average of 13.63 and a save percentage of 50.6. As Haverford comes forward, shot goes wide and out of bounds. Haverford keeps possession, 56 to shoot. They've gone with a rotation this season of Colby Freeman, Jacob Abraham, and Andy Tiso. Tiso seeing his first action since April 2nd when he played in the second half, making 6 saves against Dickinson College. But there is a chance we'll see one of the other 2 goalies in the crease for Haverford this afternoon. Meanwhile, I'm sure we'll see Baloo the whole way, and he gets beaten here. Haverford ties the score at 1. And that's Jared Heller with the goal for the Fords. Heller with the goal now in back-to-back games. He scored in the loss to Muhlenberg. Playing in just his 5th game. Missed a lot of time this season, but now has 2 goals this season. We're level at 1, just over 4 minutes gone by in this first quarter. Good fight between Carlin and Paulson for the faceoff. Paulson wins it. And these are 2 of the better teams on faceoffs in the Centennial. Haverford's first in the league at 59.6. Meanwhile, Swarthmore's 3rd at 53.4%. And 3 good battles so far on the faceoffs. Paulson with the early advantage in this first quarter, 2-1. Great move by Seafold to get free, but the help defense cuts him off from going to the middle. And now Swarthmore will go to work on offense. Shafer into the middle. Hardiman tries to go behind his head. Shot goes wide. Hardiman gets knocked to the ground. Shot clock at 41. And Hardiman going into the dirty place is taking the hit. Shot from distance doesn't get through. And Brosgol gets the rebound of his own shot. Still plenty of time for the Garnet. 20 to shoot. Now Cass has the ball checked out of his stick. Scramble for the ground ball, won by Shafer. And now here's a shot that goes wide. We'll get a flag. Seavold gets knocked to the ground as he was attempting to shoot. And we have a cross check. And taking a knee in the penalty area will be Danny Holer. As he knocks Seavold to the ground. He'll be out for a minute. 9:37 to go in the first. And Swarthmore, the 27th best man-up offense in Division III, will go to work for the first time. Holer came back into the Fords lineup against Muhlenberg, had a ground ball and a caused turnover. But he's sitting for a minute after the cross-check penalty. Shot from the left wing goes wide. 48 now to shoot after the penalty allowed the shot clock to reset back to 60. Swarthmore this season, 43.6% on the man up. Shafer's shot blocked. That was Nate Rose getting in the way. 35 still to shoot. 33 left on the Holer penalty. Here's Mabs with a bouncer, and he scores. And Mabs feeling it early. He's got both Swarthmore goals. Carter Strach gets the assists, and really that was just Mabs doing the work. They gave him room, and the one thing you can't do is let Mabs get that left hand free. Haverford does, and they pay for it. Swarthmore leads 2-1, 9:03 still to play in the first quarter. And the Garnet, 1-for-1 on the man up. And now just a little delay as we await the face-off. And Paulson just outfights Carlin for the face-off, and Swarthmore goes back to work. And Joel Paulson, his success at the face-off X generally leads to success for Swarthmore. When he does not win 50% of his face-offs, and it's rare, he's only done it 5 times this season in the 15 games Swarthmore's played, the team is just 1-4. Here's Shafer attempted to shoot, had the ball checked out of his stick. Ball ends up behind the goal. Shot from the left wing by Brosgol. Goes out of bounds. Still 50 to shoot. And Swarthmore not afraid to let it fly early in this game. It's already their 7th shot attempt at goal. Here's Mabs, the sophomore, tries the right hand, goes 5-hole and scores. Mabs with a hat trick in less than 7 minutes. 3-1 Garnet. 6:47 gone by in the first. And like I said on his last goal, you can't let him get that left hand free. Well, they didn't. And he still found a way with the right hand. He's now got 42 goals this season. Came into today 2nd in the league. And he's got the Garnet up 3-1 midway through the first quarter. And another face-off win by the Garnet and Paulson. And now Swarthmore will slow things down and get their attacking middies on the field. Here's Chambliss working on Spencer Sapir. Drives to the middle. And now behind the goal. Back up top, Seavold. Seavold finds Shafer. Shafer goes to the middle looking for an option. Gives it up to Mabs, and that's not a bad option. Mabs 3 goals on 4 shots. And you can tell he just wants to shoot, but has to give it up. Now here's Carter Strauch trying his luck, missing high and wide. Shot clock down to 16. And this Swarthmore offense averaging just under 13 goals a game at home. Already 3. Just past the 7-minute mark. This shot goes wide. Shot clock is at 1. So Shafer will inbound it, just drop it in the corner. It'll be a shot clock violation against Swarthmore. So Haverford will go back on offense. And it seems like they haven't been on offense for a while here in this first quarter. So for the first time in nearly 5 minutes, Haverford is in the Swarthmore zone. And with the ball, it's Blake Brinster who just stepped on the field for the Fords. This is the 47th all-time meeting between the two teams. Shot goes wide of Baloo and out of bounds. Haverford leads the all-time series 27-19. Swarthmore won the last battle between these two clubs which came on April 27th of 2019. Swarthmore winning at Haverford 11-9. Ball not far wing, cut in, nice save by Baloo, and the ground ball picked up by Henry Collier. And Swarthmore working quickly in transition. So already across midfield. Shafer looked to cut, but backs out. And now will take it to his familiar spot behind the net. Gets a pick from Strouch. Shafer had a cutter and Cass, but now gives it up to Hardiman. Here's Strouch getting away from Feinberg and misses off the back of the net. And now a push called against Haverford gives the ball back to Swarthmore with a fresh 60. So the interference call takes away the Haverford ground ball. And Swarthmore will keep it on offense. And the slight delay was to reset the shot clock back to 80, so a full reset in favor of the Garnet. Cass goes underhand, can't get by Tisa with the shot. And that's Tiso's first save of the contest. Once again, Tiso seeing his first action in almost a month. Comes up with the save there. So now it's Haverford behind the Swarthmore goal. It was Arth having to give it up behind the net for the Fords. Now back up in the middle for Jonathan Moon. Moon takes a shove from Sievold. Under 30 to shoot for the Fords. Moon cut off by Collier. Looking for an option. Passes behind the net. Shot clock down to 20. Pass in the middle. And they score. That's Andrew Arth, I believe, with the goal. It's his 16th of the season. And that cuts the Swarthmore lead in half. 3-2 Garnet. 3:45 left in the opening quarter. Arth extending his goal streak to 4 games. Entered today with 7 points in the last 4 games. And now the all-important face-off. And coming away with the ground ball, it's Haverford's Drew Buck. But he turns the ball over to Paulson. And Paulson's looking to run. Takes a couple of good swings from Gray Pollock. Eventually has the ball knocked out of his stick. And Holler picks up the ground ball. Mawat Larson. They work it down low. That pass just wide of its target. And it's going to roll out of bounds. They had a 2-on-none against Jack Baloo. And I think right there, Michael West, maybe a little too unselfish in trying to pass to the other post. Missed its target, and it rolls out of bounds. I believe he was looking for Richards at the other post. And now Cass, having all kinds of trouble, falls down, loses his stick, and Haverford comes away with the ground ball. But now West has the ball checked out of his stick, and Mabs with the ground ball. He's trying to run. Passes down low. It's wide behind its target, and a late flag comes in. And this is going to go against Haverford. That was Hardiman knocked down. And Swarthmore might have been helped with this flag in the fact that the pass was behind Hardiman. So he had to try to reach behind him and corral it. Hardiman was knocked to the ground. And Jason Bersari, the freshman from Brewster, New York, is having to come off. And let's see what this is about. It's a 1-minute penalty. And before we start the man-up opportunity, Haverford is going to take time out. So 3-2 Garnet, 2:38 to go in this first quarter. And it's been a pretty frenetic first quarter in terms of action. 18 shots already in this game. 12 for Swarthmore, 6 for Haverford. Von Mabs with 3 goals in this opening quarter for Swarthmore. Meanwhile, on the other side, it's Jared Heller and Andrew Arth with the goals. And this is one of 3 men's lacrosse games going on in the Centennial Conference today. 6:30 left in the first quarter over in Lancaster. And Franklin and Marshall leads Washington College by the score of 3-0. The other game later this afternoon is Ursinus at McDaniel. So Swarthmore coming into this game with a record of 8-7, 2-5 in the league. They will not qualify for the conference tournament. But if they do win this game over Haverford, it would secure their 5th straight full winning season. When I say full, I'm not including the COVID-shortened 2020 season. They did have a winning record. At the time the season was canceled, they were 4-2. But in terms of playing out the entire stretch, they've done it in 2016, 17, 18, and 19. And now Swarthmore, as play resumes, is on the extra man after the cross-check called against Bersari. The Garnet are 1-for-1 on the man up. They've got the top man-up scorer in the league in Hardiman, but this shot comes from the left wing, goes out of bounds, and that was Cooper Buckland letting it go. He's also good on the man up. Still a minute to shoot for the Garnet. 30 left on the penalty. Here's Strauch spinning left. Can't get free. Gives it up to Brosgol. Jackson Brosgol lets it go. That's wide. 19 still on the penalty. Here's Shafer. Tried to find a cutting Hardiman. Working around the perimeter. They do score. It's Brosgol. I wasn't sure if that ball came off the post or not. It did cross the goal line. And Brosgol makes good on the man up. It's his 13th goal of the season. His 3rd man-up goal of the year. And the Garnet go back in front by 2, 4-2. 1:46 left in the quarter. And the Garnet, one of the top man-up offenses in the country, making Haverford pay for their 2 penalties here in the quarter. And now here's Haverford going back on the attack. Shot goes wide. That was Evan Wolpert letting one go. And he'll come off and be replaced by Jared Heller, one of the 2 Haverford goal scorers in this game so far. Ball's behind the goal. Collier does a good job cutting off Feinberg. Feinberg looking for somewhere to go with the ball. Forced to go behind the net with it. 38 to shoot for the Fords. Under a minute to go in the first quarter. Ball up top, shot goes wide. Still 26 to shoot for the Fords. Tough shot by Mawat Larson. Ends up behind the goal line. Down to 15 to shoot. Wyatt Feinberg controlling against Luke Ingersoll. Feinberg has to give it up. Shot clock down to 3. Shot wide. There's only 1 to shoot. So much like we saw with Swarthmore earlier, they'll just roll it to the corner. Shot clock runs out. And Swarthmore will go back on offense and have to go the length of the field in 15 seconds, leading by 2. Here's Will Drake speeding across midfield, gets it over to Sievold. 6 seconds left. His long pass hits the turf and is intercepted. And now with Simon Dickinson controlling, gives it up to Holler. And that'll end action here in the first quarter. Von Mabs records a hat trick in the first. Swarthmore scores in a pair of man-up opportunities, and they lead Haverford after 1 quarter of play, 4-2. One quarter of play in the books here from Clothier Field. Swarthmore has the 4-2 lead over the Fords of Haverford College. Shots in that first quarter, 16-9 in favor of Swarthmore. Garnet also the advantage at the face-off X 4-3. And now 1-0 to begin the second quarter as they win that face-off. 2 saves for Jack Baloo in that first quarter. Meanwhile, Haverford's Andy Tiso made 1 save. Ground balls in favor of Swarthmore 9-6. But the big stat, 2 penalties against Haverford, leading to a pair of Swarthmore goals. And a change in goal for Swarthmore. Shane Nashin, the freshman, in goal, and they score. Michael Hardiman, the freshman from Massapequa, gets his 25th of the season with an assist to Von Mabs. So Mabs, 4 points early in this one. For Hardiman, goal number 25. Now goals in 2 straight games for Hardiman. And that increases the Swarthmore lead to 5-2. Now look out, here comes Paulson. But he'll pass off to Strach. Hardiman again! This time denied by Tiso. So Swarthmore nearly with 2 goals in a span of about 6 seconds. But Tiso did well on the low to high shot from Hardiman. And the score remains 5-2. And I was about to say Nashin, the freshman from Mountain Lakes, New Jersey, playing in his 15th game of the year. He's been the starter throughout. But Coach Pat Gress giving Baloo the start on senior day. First shot testing Nashin goes wide. Haverford picks up the ground ball and keeps possession. Pass in the middle, and they score. Matt Richards lets it go. And Haverford quickly responds after the save from Tiso. 5-3 Swarthmore. 13:24 to go in the second. And for the freshman from Middletown, Rhode Island, it's his 23rd of the season. Now has 8 goals in the last 3+ games for the Fords. And the Fords will get the ball here after Carlin was pushed to the ground. And here come the Fords quickly back on offense. It's behind the goal for Gray Pollock. Now ball up top for Blake Brinster. Brinster, one of 7 seniors on this Haverford team. It's a very young Haverford team featuring 16 freshmen. Ball loose in the middle of the field. Richards gets chase for Haverford, but the ball's knocked toward midfield. We have whistles and a flag down on the far side of the field. And we'll check the marker. And judging by the Haverford fans' reaction, this is going to go against Swarthmore. It's a 30-second penalty against Samuel Ginsberg. So Ginsberg out for the next 30 seconds. And now Haverford will get its first man-up opportunity of the game. They are 12 of 49 this season. With the extra man, just 24.5%. And not much time to work here. This ball worked in front, and they score. So the Fords cash in on the 30-second penalty, and both teams' extra man opportunities or offenses doing work. And that was their leading goal scorer, Mawat Larson, the senior from Houston, Texas, with the goal. And the Fords are back within 1, 5-4. 12:21 still to play in this first half. And Swarthmore's 3-goal lead quickly down to 1. And a big face-off win there by Matthew Martinez. And now Swarthmore will get a chance to settle things down. And Martinez was greeted by Will Kelly with a nice little hip bump. Or I should say flying hip bump as Martinez came to the sideline. So now here the Garnet up by just 1. Taking the ball on the far wing. Now worked around the perimeter near side for Seavold. Cuts to the middle. Strauch puts the ball on the turf. But no pressure, easily picks it up. Shot on, and he scores! Beats Tiso to the near post. And Carter Strauch nets his 33rd of the year. And the Garnet regain their 2-goal advantage, 6-4. 11:34 to go in the half. And these teams just trading blows here in this second quarter. 2 goals by each team. And we haven't even played 3.5 minutes in this second quarter. They're just throwing haymakers at each other. And that's made for very entertaining lacrosse. 10 goals so far in this one. Good job by Richards along the sideline. Cuts into the middle on Nashin. Passes off. Larson wanted to let one go. Instead, passes near side for Arth. Arth given a lane. Has to take it behind the goal. Ingersoll there to cut him off. Arth has a goal in this game. Goes far side. Behind the goal once again for the Fords. Here's Mawat Larson letting it go, and he finds Twine. So Haverford goes up by 2. Swarthmore goes up by 2. Haverford comes right back. And we're looking at a 6-5 contest. 10:41 to go in the half. And that was actually Michael West with the goal. For West, his 4th of the season. And his first goal since scoring 2 against Ursinus on the 13th of April. You know, a face-off win here by the Fords. That's Carlin getting the ground ball after winning the face-off. So Haverford getting a chance to tie here on offense. Swarthmore led 5-2 in this quarter. But that lead back down to 1 once again, 6-5. Here's Jonathan Moon. Shot, tried to go to that far post. Nashin got a stick on it to force it wide. Shot clock resets to 60. Now here's Will Graves. Goes left wing. Good help defense. Has to give it up top. Shot blocked. That was Moon letting it go. And the scrap for the ground ball results in a push against Swarthmore. Haverford to retain possession with a new 60. Ball on the far wing. Good defense by Ginsberg. Ball work near side for Brinster. Blake Brinster tries to get to the post. Shot fired wide. Don't know how he squeezed through 2 Swarthmore defenders. And it'll be Swarthmore ball as Brinster ended up in the crease as he fell down. And that was a high looping dangerous pass from Collier. Found its target. And now Swarthmore's across midfield. So a good defensive stand by the Garnet. And their lead remains 6-5. As we're now under 9 minutes to go in this half. Hardiman wanted to shoot, was cut off, and is able to get it out to Chambliss. So now the sophomore Chambliss, little stutter step, then goes left. Ends up even with the goal line. Cuts back out. Now Brosgol can't get the right hand free. Good tight defense by Max Elliott. Forces him to give it up to Shafer. Now it's Strach in front. His pass knocked down and picked up, I believe, by Elliott. And here come the Fords looking to tie once again. Here's Pollock, shouldered off at midfield. Able to take the bump and get into the offensive zone. Ball at the left wing. Pass in the middle, they score! Or maybe not. We're having a discussion in front of the crease. If it stands, it will be Richard's second. The question is, did he end up in the crease? The official on the near side had goal. The official on the far side said in the crease. And a flag comes down, and it looks like no goal. Instead, Swarthmore will be playing one down. It's a 30-second push against senior Will Drake. So Haverford goes back to the man advantage. They're 1 for 1. 7:58 to go in the half. And a great chance for the Fords to level this game up at 6. And once again, when Haverford scored on their man advantage, it was only a 30-second penalty. So they can get it going in a hurry. And they'll have to with the shot clock, or pardon me, the penalty clock already close to 10. Shot from the left wing blocked in front. Ball goes out of bounds. 8 seconds left on the Drake penalty. Ball at the near post. And now through a screen, it's Peter Christians. And we are tied up at 6. And for the junior attack from Palo Alto, it's his second of the year. It's his second man-up of the season. He had a man-up goal against Washington College. And we are level at 6. 2 seconds past the midway point of this second quarter. It goes down Christians from Richards. And we're even up. And now Paulson back out there to take the face-off for Swarthmore, and he wins it. Runs into a man and falls down. But before he lost possession, head coach Pat Gress calls timeout. So Swarthmore will keep the ball. 7:15 to go in this second quarter. And we are tied up at 6. And the Fords have scored 4 of the last 5 goals in this game. After Hardiman scored to make the score 5-2, Richards and Mawat Larson scored about a minute apart to get the Fords within 1. Carter Strauch looked like he had momentum settled down for the Garnet when he scored at 11:55 to make the score 6-4 in favor of the Garnet. But back-to-back goals from Michael West and Peter Christians have us level at 6. And despite the record, looking at Haverford 5-8, they do have some pretty decent wins in non-conference play this season, including their biggest win of the year coming back on February 23rd when they knocked off Stevens Institute of Technology 11-9. At the time of that game, Stevens was ranked 18th in the country. They're no longer ranked, but at the time, a big win for Haverford. Also nice wins over Susquehanna and Kane in the non-conference schedule. And they were challenged in non-conference play. When you look at their 3 losses, Cabrini, who at the time was number 8, then a road loss at Skidmore, and then a close loss at Ithaca, who at the time of that game was receiving votes in the U.S. ILA poll. After the timeout, Mabs has the ball checked out of his stick. Fords come away with the ground ball, and they're into the attacking end, looking for their first lead of the afternoon. Shot, save, Nashin, ball on the turf. And able to get there first, Alex Strauch. But Strauch can't get away. Ball checked out of his stick. And it'll go over to Haverford. Great defense by Eric Dahlberg, getting the cause turnover. And now nearly getting an assist. Mabs just runs the attacker over. I believe that was Richards getting knocked to the ground hard by the sophomore. So Haverford keeps possession. It's Arth going behind the goal line. He's met back there by Ingersoll. Arth passes behind the cage. Pass into the middle. And ball falls out of the stick of a forward player. Mawat Larson tries to pick it up, I believe, and they score after the ground ball. So Haverford comes from 5-2 down here in the second, and they lead 7-6 with 6:01 to play in the second quarter. And it's Andrew Arth getting his second of the day. It's his 5th two-goal game of the season. And it puts the Fords in front by 1. So we have 6 minutes to go in the quarter. And now Carlin with a clean face-off win for Haverford. And he'll run down the alley. And a timeout taken by Haverford. So this Haverford team feeling it, and you can kind of see it as they come off to the huddles for the timeout. 5:51 to go in the second. Haverford in front 7-6. And this Haverford team this season only averages just over 8 goals a game away from Swan Field. And they've got 7 in this half. They're a decent team when scoring at home, scoring 12 goals a game. Not so much on the road. They're just 2-5 away from home. Meanwhile, Swarthmore's defense has been pretty good in home games this season, allowing just 9.7 goals in their 7 previous games here at Clothier Field. Meanwhile, they score almost 13 at home. So on paper, you wouldn't think this would be a super high-scoring game. But 13 goals in this second quarter, or through this second quarter, and there's still 5:51 to go. So Haverford ball after the timeout. And they were able to get Carlin off the field and get their entire attacking group back on. And here's Graves, forced behind the goal. Still lots of time for Swarthmore to shoot. The shot clock not an issue at the moment. Here's Graves, comes out in front. And there's only options behind the goal. Pass is too high, rolls over the end line. And an unforced turnover gives the ball back to the Garnet. And I believe that pass was for Michael West, just a little bit out of his reach. So now Swarthmore on offense for the first time while trailing in this game. And it's Michael Hardiman just holding while the attacking middies get on the field. But Max Elliott wanted to speed Hardiman up a little bit. And now the Swarthmore offense going to work. Ball's in the middle, turned over. Tiso there to pick up the errant pass. And now it's Haverford back the other way. And there's a lane in the middle, save Nashin. Rebounds on the ground. Race to the end line. And I'm not quite sure who won it. And it looks like it was Haverford winning it. They'll keep possession behind the goal, 63 to shoot. But Nashin did well on that shot by Samuel Milley to keep the Swarthmore deficit at 1. Now ball at the far wing. Worked up top. It's Mawat Larson having to give it up, and now it's behind the goal once again. Pass near post, behind the head shot, Nash in there. And that was from an extremely tight angle. Really nowhere for Art to go. Back come the Garnet the other way. It's Shafer letting one rip. And it ends up over the end line. Now an official's timeout. .337 left in the quarter. Not quite sure what this could be about. And there's a lot of signaling and pointing going on toward the Swarthmore bench, and one of the officials saying something to head coach Pat Grass. So after the brief stoppage, it's still Swarthmore possession. Ryan Chambliss, trying to shoulder his way into some room, is forced to the far side. Now gives it up to Mabs. Mabs to the middle. Tries to throw a pass in the middle for Hardiman. He zigged. Mabs thought he was going to zag, but Shafer's there to back it up and keep the ball alive. Now Carter Strauch comes out from behind the goal, trying to get the right hand free, spins, throws the ball in the middle, scooped up on goal. Tisso's there to make the stop. Just a little bit of chaos in front of the Haverford goal. And now it's Haverford back the other way. Nate Rose getting across midfield for the Fords. As we are under 2.5 minutes to go in this second quarter. And the way this quarter's gone, this is really both teams kind of taking the air out of play. Really now taking their time. And it's Sean Mawat Larson just kind of holding for the Fords before giving it up to the far sideline. 30 still on the shot clock. West tried to let one go. It was blocked. Loose ball picked up by Luke Ingersoll. Back come the Garnet. Ingersoll, the senior, will give it up to Carter Strauch. And Swarthmore goes back on offense. Minute 30 to go in the quarter, 60 on the shot clock. Here's Strauch, walks toward the middle, gives it up to Mabs. Mabs, after a very loud first quarter, quiet in this second. And now Sievold back up top. Brosgol approaching a minute. It's Brosgol trying to find a lane. Ends up behind the cage. 26 to shoot. Strauch lets it go with the left hand. Goes wide. 47.6 to go in the half. Shafer will start play up for Swarthmore. It's Brosgol. Looks to drive. Gives it up to Strauch. 5 to shoot. Strauch is going to let it go. Save Tiso. Ground ball loose on the turf. Play continues. Hardiman goes in the crease, gets knocked down. Flags come in from everywhere. 18.8 to go in the half. The shot clock never reset, and I think that led to some confusion, especially from the Haverford defender. Swarthmore kept playing. Meanwhile, I think Haverford stopped for a second after the shot clock expired, but there was a save in there from Tiso. And when the ball hits the post or the goalie, the shot clock is supposed to get reset to 60 if the offense maintains possession, which Swarthmore did in this case. So now the officials deciding, I guess, a lot of different things. One, is it a shot clock violation against Swarthmore? And then two, depending on the result of one, will the flag stand because it's going to go against Haverford if it does. And now Andy Tiso is coming off. So it looks like the penalty is going to be on him. So the sophomore goalie from Charlotte, Vermont is out for the next 30 seconds. And we're going to see Colby Freeman, another sophomore. He's from Boulder, Colorado. He played in the second half in the Ford's last game against Muhlenberg. So Freeman will make his 8th appearance of the season. And Swarthmore, who are 2 for 2 with the extra man, will go back to the extra man for the third time. And actually, it's a minute penalty against Tiso. So if they don't score, this will carry over to the second half. And Strouch has no interest in playing offense. So Swarthmore will take the extra man with them into the third quarter. But a strong second quarter by Haverford sees them erase a 5-2 Swarthmore lead. And the Fords go into the half, leading the Garnet by the count of 7-6. Welcome back to Clothier Field. Just about ready to start the third quarter. And after 30 minutes of play, the Haverford College men's lacrosse team leads Swarthmore College by the score of 7-6. Swarthmore held a 4-2 lead after the opening 15 minutes of play. Von Mabs did a lion's share of the work offensively for the Garnet in that first quarter, recording a hat trick. And then the Garnet went up 5-2 early in the second quarter when Michael Hardiman scored just 28 seconds in. And then the Fords went on a 5-1 run to end the opening half to take the 7-6 lead with them into the halftime break. Shots in the first half, and there were a lot of them. Swarthmore had 22, meanwhile Haverford 21. And as we get ready to begin the third, Andy Tiso is serving a cross-checking penalty, so Swarthmore will begin the quarter with the ball. No face-off needed. And speaking of face-off, Swarthmore had the slight advantage at the X, 8-7. So 22 seconds left on this extra man. Shot wide from Hardiman. Both teams were 2 for 2 in the opening half on extra man opportunities. Swarthmore on their third. It's down to about 10 seconds. Ball at the far wing. That's Buckland putting it off the side of the net. Ground ball scooped up by Colby Freeman, and that will kill off the extra man opportunity. Gray Pollock comes racing on. And while Haverford has the ball, they're going to make the goalie swap. So don't expect much action for the next few seconds as the sophomore from Vermont takes his place on the field. Shot, save, Nashin. He denies Brinster. And for Nashin, that's his fourth save of the game. He entered the game at the start of the second quarter. Flags down. And Swarthmore will go right back to the extra man. Here's Seavold with a pass in traffic. Tiso picks up the ground ball, and we'll check the flag. It's a 30-second penalty against Haverford. And it looks like serving the penalty will be Gray Pollock. So after being stopped on the extra man opportunity, Swarthmore gets another chance. It's now their fourth of the afternoon. Here's Carter Strauch. Gives it up top for Brosgol. His shot goes wide. And Nate Rose, the closest to it for Haverford. So he did a good job in backing that up. And he'll get the ball back for Haverford. And then puts a heck of a move on Hardiman. Hardiman goes to the turf. Now runs by Hardiman and Carter Strauch. And gets across midfield. And now whistles coming from the near side. And after all that, Swarthmore gets the ball back. The penalty expired. So Swarthmore, after going 2 for 2 in the first half on extra man opportunities, have failed to score on their last two. Here's Strauch letting one go. Goes wide, out of bounds. Ben Shafer able to back it up. And now we get a whistle. And Haverford's going to call timeout. So a bit of a shaky start for the Fords in this third quarter. They were able to kill off the extra man to begin the quarter, but commit a penalty, puts Swarthmore right back on the extra man, which they did kill. Then a turnover at midfield. And third-year head coach Nick Taylor just wants to settle his guys down. They do have the 7-6 lead. But that start gave some momentum to Swarthmore. They couldn't score with any of it yet. Shots now in the game, 26-22 in favor of the Garnet. And both teams average close to 40 shots a game. We might surpass that by the end of this quarter, the way these teams are playing offense. Ground balls are 19-17 in favor of Swarthmore. Shane Nashin up to 4 saves now. Jack Baloo in the first quarter made a pair as he got the start on senior day. Meanwhile, on the other side, Andy Tiso has made 3 saves on the 9 shots on goal he has faced. And that timeout allowed Swarthmore to get all of its attacking players on the field. As I see Chambliss, Mabs, and Seavold out there now. And Ryan Chambliss has the ball. He's got it behind the goal. Wants to come near side. Instead goes the other way. Back up top for a shot by Hardiman. Blocked in front. And the ground ball picked up by the Fords. Now they look to quickly move the other way. And they're quickly already behind the Swarthmore net. Ball along this near sideline with Gray Pollock. Pollock, a senior from Salem, with the ball behind the goal, looking for an option. Throws it out front for a shot. They score. That's Sean Mawat Larson with his second of the afternoon. Now has 2 goals in back-to-back games. And the Haverford lead grows to 2, 8-6. 11:43 to go in the third quarter. And for the senior from Houston, he's been on fire as of late. Now has 15 goals in the last 5+ games. Also has now 31 goals this season. And a big face-off win by Teddy Carlin. Haverford goes right back on offense with a shot fired wide of Nashin. Ball bounced just wide of the near post. And now the Fords have all the momentum, leading by 2. It's their largest lead of the game. Once again, they trailed this game 5-2 early in the second quarter. And now here's White Feinberg trying to cut toward goal. He's cut off by Ginsberg. Feinberg faces a triple team. Tough pass through that defense. Goes out of bounds. Jared Heller was the intended target. Goes over the sideline. Swarthmore gets the ball back. And that is the 13th turnover of the game, committed by the Fords. Here's Ben Shafer behind the goal, getting worked on by Holler. Up top for Seavold. Back to Shafer. Not much of a screen there by Mabs. Shafer went the other way. Now Seavold working left. Finds Chambliss in the middle. Pass kind of jammed him up. That was in on his hands. Chambliss did a good job, though, to maintain possession. Now Hardiman gets bumped off his position behind the goal. Trying to work free, runs into a crowd of about 5 players, loses the ball, and Holler's there to pick it up for the Fords. Hardiman just ran into traffic and ran out of options, and the Fords were able to take it off his stick. And Swarthmore has been struggling offensively to really get anything going. Now it's Brinster along the far side going behind the goal. He's met back there by Liam Warner. Brinster comes out the near side looking for a pass. Finds an option in Graves. Shot on. Blocked before it got through to Nashin. Ground ball picked up by Holstead. He gets knocked down. Ball's on the turf. Ingersoll picks it up for Swarthmore and gets across midfield. A good defensive stand there by the Garnet. And now it's one of the 10 seniors on this team, Ingersoll, taking the ball behind the net. And right now, Chambliss and Alex Strouch just kind of standing along the far side. Pass in front for Shafer. Couldn't connect. Ball picked up by Warner. Gets it off to Shafer. And now Shafer will try to get things going once again. Seavold wanted to load up the right hand. Gives it up. Now gets it free and scores! Great individual effort by Quinn Seavold. Working against a double team. Gets one of the Ford players to fall down. Opens up a lane for the right hand. And Seavold makes no mistake, scoring his 18th goal of the season. He now has points in 10 straight games, including a goal in each of the last 3. And the Garnet back within 1, 8:21 to go in the third quarter. And a big face-off here being contested by Carlin and Paulson. Ball's on the ground. Ball's still on the ground. It's flipped up into the Swarthmore zone and picked up by the Ford's Walpert. But he has the ball knocked out of his stick. And now a pushing and shoving match for the ground ball along that far sideline. Almost looks like a rugby scrum. And the Garnet come away with the ground ball. But now a low pass by Nash and nearly intercepted. Ball fought for it midfield. Gray Pollock comes away with it for Haverford. And now he's going to go behind the cage. It's met back there by Collier. And Pollock's just going to slow things down and let the Haverford offense get set. And now it's Will Graves, a sophomore from Atlanta, Georgia, with the ball on the far side against Ginsburg. Graves with the swim move, finds a pass option. It's Brinster. He's forced to back up and try again. Has to retreat a second time before passing the ball off. Shot clock down to 30. Here's Graves. Tries to cut to the middle. Met with resistance the whole way. Lets a shot go. Right into the stick of Nashin. Great defense by Ginsburg. Not giving Graves much to shoot at. And when he did let it go, Shane Nashin was there to record the save. And now Nashin's going to try to advance the ball up himself. Throws a pass initially intended for look like nobody. But Carter Strouch is there to pick it up and keep the ball alive for Swarthmore. Now here's Jackson Brosgol, cuts to the middle, tries to float a pass behind the goal, finds its intended target in Shafer. Now Shafer throws the pass back up top, and now it's Mabs. Haven't seen too much of Von Mabs lately, as he's able to pass off. Flags thrown, Shafer with the shot, save, Tiso. Ground ball picked up by the Fords, but Mabs is down after taking a hit while he was trying to pass the ball off for Brosgol. He's got his helmet off. And two or three, I think every official was able to throw their flag on that hit. It's Simon Dickinson, the penalized player for Haverford, but right now, the concern for Swarthmore is with Von Mabs, a sophomore from Concord, Massachusetts. He was on his back for the Garnet, being looked at by the Swarthmore training staff. So once again, we'll take this opportunity to look at scores from around the Centennial. There's one other game going on right now, and that's between Washington College and Franklin and Marshall. And there's 4 seconds to go in the third quarter of that one. And it's the Diplomats all over Washington College, 11-5. Once again, Ursinus and McDaniel will square off at 3. And Mabs back to his feet. And walking off the field. Meanwhile, Simon Dickinson is out for the next minute after a cross-checking penalty. And we'll see how that hit changes the complexion of this game. Mabs going over the training table. And it seems to be that the Haverford sideline's the one that's fired up after the hit. And Swarthmore will be without their leading goal scorer for the time being, including this extra man opportunity. Garnet are 2 for 4 on the extra man. And if they score, they'll tie the game up at 8. Here's Strouch. Ball finds Shafer. He finds a lane. His low to high shot saved by Tiso. Ball loose on the ground and picked up by the Fords. That was Elliott getting to the ground ball. But his errant pass is on the turf. But once again, Hollier able to get the ground ball, but he throws his pass right out of bounds. So Danny Holer did a good job in picking up the ground ball, but then commits the unforced turnover, just rushed his pass, and Swarthmore has possession once again with 10 seconds on the extra man. Here's Brosgol getting the ball back from Strouch. Hardiman lets one go. Save, Tiso. Rebound, loose on the ground. Tiso loses his stick, but Holer able to come away with the ground ball. Or pardon me, that was Elliott. He has the ball knocked out of his stick, and Hardiman regains possession for Swarthmore. So both teams on offense are slowing things down, but then when they get going, it leads to moments of chaos from both teams. And once again, it's Swarthmore taking its time on offense. Here's Cooper Buckland. Gives the ball up. Here's Danny Lowe with a shot. Legs saved by Tiso. Back come the Fords quickly in transition. Here's Mawat Larson. He backs out. Now worked along the far post. Shot, I believe that hit Nashin. Ball goes out of bounds. Nashin couldn't win the foot race for the ground ball. 3:44 to go in the third quarter. 8-7 Fords. And it's Haverford ball behind the Swarthmore net. And this pass hops over the stick of Mawat Larson, and he is not able to keep it from going out of bounds. And the turnover gives the ball back to the Garnet. But this pass from Strauch intercepted at midfield by the Fords. And here's Matt Richards. After getting the ground ball and cause turnover. Approaching 3 minutes left in the third. Big shove in the back there from Ingersoll. Well, Pollock was able to maintain possession through the push. Rolled shot goes wide. That was Richards just almost rolling it along the turf. Trying to catch Nashin off guard. Save Nashin on the shot in tight. Ground ball's up in the air. And we have a push against Haverford. Giving the ball back to Swarthmore. Good work by Nashin on the shot from in tight by Jared Heller. Heller does have a goal in this game for Haverford. We've had plenty of action in this third quarter, but just a goalless side. And Haverford maintaining the 1-goal lead they took with them to the locker room for halftime. As we're under 2 minutes left in this third quarter. Here's Quinn Seavold, spins to the middle, forces his defender to fall down, gets the shot off, it's wide. And that was Dahlberg that hit the deck on the cut. Here's Hardiman. Shot the near post, he scores! Not quite sure how he found the room, but Michael Hardiman ties us up at 8 with 1:36 to go in the third quarter. And it's Hardiman's second of the game and 26th of the season. So once again, we've got a whole new game. 8-8 late in the third. And a clean face-off win by the sophomore Teddy Carlin gives Haverford possession. And right now, Haverford just struggling to get across midfield. Eventually, Pollock fights off a couple of defenders and will set up the Haverford offense. Here's Jonathan Moon. We're now down to 54 seconds left in the third quarter. Here's Moon trying to back down Warner. Moon eventually cut off. Now tries to spin. Trying to get the right hand free, can't do it. Ball now on the far wing. Now near side for Will Graves. Graves to the middle. Bouncing shot high out of bounds. 13 to shoot for the Fords. 26 seconds left in the quarter. It's Andrew Arth behind the goal for Haverford. Trying to get away from Collier. It's met by 4 players. He's able to keep the ball. Now it's on the ground. Picked up by Alex Strouch. Passes over to Nashin. 10 seconds left in the quarter. And Haverford Swarthmore doesn't look to be in too much of a hurry. It's Seavold with 1. Lets it go. Saved by Tiso. And that's the final action of this third quarter. And it's going to be a heck of a final 15 minutes. As it is 8-8 between Swarthmore and Haverford. 15 minutes left in the 2022 season for the Swarthmore College men's lacrosse team as they try to send their seniors out on a winning note. After 45 minutes of play, the Garnet are tied up with the visiting Fords from Haverford College at 8. Looking at the game totals through 3 quarters, shots are in favor of Swarthmore 33-30. Ground balls also a slight edge to the Garnet 28-27. And the Fords now with the advantage at the face-off X 10-8. So a big face-off by Carlin and Paulson to begin this 4th quarter. And it's picked up by the Fords. Carlin now 9 of 14 at the X. They try to work the ball down low. It's on the turf. Nash in there with his big goalie stick to pick it up for Swarthmore. So after a first half that featured 13 goals, just 3 between the two teams in the third. But most importantly for Swarthmore, they had 2 of the 3. This ball's being fought for along the near sideline. A couple of players go down. And it looks like we'll have a push against Gray Pollock of Haverford. Only Swarthmore a ball, 68 to shoot. And before play resumes, it'll actually be a full reset back to 80. Once again, this is the final game of the 2022 season for the Garnet, looking to secure their 5th consecutive full winning season with a victory over the rival Fords this afternoon. Pass in the middle, Hardiman shot, save, Tiso. Rebound picked up by Brosgol behind the net. And actually that ball went just wide, no reset. Shot clock down to 47. Strouch lets it go. That does hit Tiso. And Pollock's there to scoop up the ground ball. And actually, yeah, back the other way. It's Haverford with the shot. Bounces wide. That was Dahlberg letting one go from in tight. Now it's Dahlberg behind the goal, trying to get away from Halstead. Ball now up top for Wolpert. And that shot goes wide. Again, ball behind the cage for Haverford. Warner gets run over. Haverford still with the ball. It's Wolpert having to give it up before he hits the deck. Good defense behind the net by Werner. Forces Haverford behind the goal once again. Now Heller with a pass across. Shot wide. Race to the ground ball. Won by Mawat Larson. And the shot clock goes back to 60. Now 8 saves for Nashin. Ball up top, Wolpert. Lets the right-hand shot go. Nashin there once again. He's up to 9 saves, which is both a good and a bad thing for Swarthmore. When Nashin has to make 10 or more saves in a game, the Garnet are just 1 and 3. The one being a 13-save performance in a 14-9 or 16-9 victory over Roger Williams. So the fact Nashin is sitting at 9 saves, great because he's made 9 saves on 15 shots, but also bad just because of the record I just stated. Here's Ben Shafer passing into the middle for Chambliss. His shot blocked, and Chambliss there to corral the ground ball. Here's Chambliss up top. Strouch, left-hand shot, he scores! And the Garnet go back in front. 11:18 to play. 9-8 Garnet on Strouch's second of the afternoon with an assist from Chambliss. Carter now up to 34 goals this season. And the Garnet lead for the first time in this half. Their last lead was 6-5 midway through the second quarter. And Paulson gets sandwiched after looking to scoop up the faceoff, and he is still down. Haverford with the ball. Paulson able to collect himself and now get off the field under zone power. But he was not expecting that hit. He had his stick extended, ready to pick up the ground ball for Swarthmore. So now here's Haverford trailing once again with the ball behind the Swarthmore net. As Paulson's being looked at by the athletic training staff at the table, and they score. We are tied at 9. 10:41 to play. And that's Blake Brinster, the senior from Marlton, New Jersey, getting his 17th of the season. And Matt Martinez will go out for Swarthmore to take this face-off, with Paulson still being looked at along the sideline. Martinez was pretty good on face-offs in the first half, but loses this one here. And picking up the ground ball was Pollock. And now a foul called against Haverford. And now an interference call against Swarthmore gives the ball back to Haverford. So Shafer was about to get the ball, but I'm not quite sure what he did, but the official signaled interference straight away. So now Haverford gets the first chance to try to untie this score. Ball at the near sideline. It's Graves. Now it's far side. Get away from Strouch, but loses the ball. Nash in there to pick it up. Back come the Garnet the other way. It's Ingersoll quickly over midfield. And now flags come in from behind the play. Ingersoll still maintaining possession that whole time. And Swarthmore will get its 6th extra man opportunity once Haverford gains possession of the ball. Meanwhile, here's Strouch. Thought about loading up the right hand. Now he will save Tiso. That one got in on his body. And now we'll check the flag. So with 9:06 to go and the score tied at 9, Swarthmore goes to the extra man. Let's see who's coming over. A few players came over for Haverford. Yeah, it looks like the offending player was Wyatt Feinberg. And he's out for a minute. And a big extra man upcoming for Swarthmore. 2 for 5 so far in this game. It's Feinberg for slashing. The official call. Brosgol from distance. Save Tiso. And the forwards pick up the ground ball. And now have it over midfield. But the Haverford player on the far side I believe that's Dahlberg, steps out of bounds, trying to get away from a couple of Swarthmore players, and the Garnet get the ball back. 20 still left on the extra man opportunity. Here's Jackson Brosgol, near side for Hardiman. That pass intended for Shafer's knocked down. Shafer is eventually able to pick it up as he cuts towards the goalpost. The penalty is expired. Good work by Haverford. And Swarthmore now 2 for 6 on the extra man. And Shafer will take it behind the goal. Von Mabs back out there. That shot from Hardiman blocked. A flag comes in. This is going to go against Swarthmore. It's going to be a cross check against the Garnet. So now Haverford will get the extra man opportunity and try to take the lead in this 9-9 game. It's Cooper Buckland, the offending player. And he'll sit for a minute. Haverford 2 for 2 in the first half with the extra man. And both of those extra man opportunities were only 30 seconds each. Now the Fords will get a full minute to try to take the lead with the man up. Right now, Haverford just keeping it on the perimeter. Now it's Mawat Larson with the right hand. Laser shot goes wide. And that was a play they were trying to set up. West and Mawat Larson switching places. And let's see if they try it again. Here's Mawat Larson. Now near side, back in the middle. Ball down. Nash in there to pick up the ground ball. And that pass from Richards was knocked down, allowing for the ground ball by the goalie Nashin. So here's Von Mabs, who was shaken up earlier in this game, but good to see him back out there now. And Mabs just holding after they kill the penalty. Ryan Chambliss steps onto the field, and the Garnet will now play offense. Here's Carter Strouch. Goes left, tries to load up the left hand, now spins right, back up top Chambliss. Strouch, near post, shot wide. Shafer there to back up. 23 still to shoot for the Garnet. 6:05 to go in the game. We are tied at 9. Here's Shafer off the screen. Cuts to the middle. Over to Mabs. Mabs with 3 goals in this one. Wants to let that left hand go. Instead, it's behind the goal with 5. Seavold from in tight. Bounces over the net. Goes out of bounds. Shot clock expires. And it'll be Haverford ball with 5:41 to go. And good defense from the Fords, not giving Swarthmore anything to shoot at until it was nearly too late. So now Haverford on offense. Shots in the game now 41-36 in favor of Swarthmore. Right now they're working on getting their attackers on the field. Will Graves just came on. Shot from distance, save Nash and fight for the ground ball. Scooped up by the freshman goalie, and they're looking to run. Up ahead, it's Halstead, but he'll pass off and be like, I don't belong up here. I'm getting back on defense. It's Quinn Seavold giving up to Chambliss. Now Seavold goes left, cuts into the middle, he scores! Great work by Quinn Seavold, weaving his way through the Haverford defense, and the Garnet reclaim the lead, 10-9, 4:39 to go in the game. And for Seavold, that's his second of the game and 19th of the season. And Joel Paulson, who was shaken up on the last faceoff for Swarthmore, he's back out there to take this draw against the sophomore Carlin. And here's Paulson with the win. He's charging downfield. Lets it go, he scores! No! No, the officials wave it off. Timeout Swarthmore. Oh, no! And obviously no way to know that's going to happen. But take the goal from Paulson off the board. Instead, we have a timeout by Swarthmore. 4:35 to go, and the Garnet lead the Fords 10-9. .435 to go, and right now, Quinn Seavold's second goal of the afternoon is the difference in this game. Swarthmore leads Haverford by the score of 10-9. And just looking at the scores for Swarthmore, Von Mabs leading the way with 3 goals, all of them coming back in the first quarter. But then Seavold, as I mentioned earlier, with 2 goals, Michael Hardiman with a pair of goals, and Carter Strouch with 2 goals and 2 assists. Also Jackson Brosgol with a goal. And Joel Paulson, 7 of 18 on faceoffs in this game, nearly had a goal. But the timeout by the Swarthmore bench took that off the board. So now Swarthmore is playing offense with a 1-goal lead as we tick toward 4 minutes. Just under a minute to shoot for Swarthmore. And Swarthmore taking their time, working it around the perimeter. Shots in the game are 42-37. Ball goes in the middle. Buckland lets it go. Save, Tiso. And Haverford takes that ground ball into the crease, where Tiso is able to pick it up. And back we go the other way. Here's Richards in the middle of the field for the Fords. Richards has a goal and 2 assists in this contest. And he's taking it back toward midfield before giving it up to Jonathan Moon. So now the freshman from Hillsborough, New Jersey, will trigger the offense. Here's Graves, fresh off the sideline, forced behind the goal by Halstead. Still with Graves. In the middle for Richards. His shot right at Nashin. And the freshman there to make the big save and keep this at a 1-goal game in favor of the Garnet. You know, we've seen Nashin do this a lot this season. He's going to take it up the field. Now he's going to cross midfield and miss Shafer with the pass. Tiso able to win the race to the ground ball. Back come the Fords. Nashin has to race back to his goal. Good work by the back-checking Swarthmore players. Prevents a long shot at what was the open net. Now here's Brinster with under 2.5 to go. Also now 11 saves in the game for Shane Nashin. Ball on the far wing. Right-hand shot, save Nashin. Ground ball loose. Picked up by Liam Warner. Heck of a fourth quarter by Shane Nashin. He's come up huge time and again. And the freshman now with 12 saves, despite not playing in the first quarter. He has been strong in that crease. And now here's Von Mabs with 1:43 to play. Mabs getting Pollock to back off. 48 to shoot for the Garnet. 1.5 to go in the game. It's again the final game for Swarthmore in 2022. Looking to finish on a high. And Mabs just content to hold it. Pollock is there, but not really able to do anything as the sophomore is just holding the ball in his stick. Mabs starts to go with 20. It's behind the net for Shafer. Now Seavold. His goal right now stands to be the winner as we're under a minute to go. Seavold for Bra's goal. Fakes a shot, goes far side. They score! It's Ben Shafer with the insurance goal. 47 seconds to go. Shafer with his 22nd of the season, and the Garnet lead 11-9. And that was just simply great work by the Swarthmore offense. All of it flowed to this near side, and Shafer was able to creep out from behind the goal on the far post. Nobody in a black jersey was able to keep track of where he was. So when the pass came across from Seavold, Shafer was wide open. And a face-off violation on Paulson gives Haverford the ball. And now some whistles. And the clock is still running. And I'm sure they're going to put some time back on. There was a whistle immediately on the face-off, and that came with 46.9. And there's 34.1 on there now. And let's see how much they decide to add. So they add nearly 10 seconds. It's back to 45. So 45 seconds to go. Haverford with the ball down 2. Now more whistles. Oh, we got a timeout called by Haverford. So 40.7 to go in the game. Garnet leading by 2. Haverford with the ball. And they'll have to make good on this possession, because otherwise there might not be enough time to get the ball back. Once again, it's Mavs with 3 goals and an assist. Quinn Seavold with the potential game-winning goal, also assisted on the Ben Shafer insurance goal just a few seconds ago. Carter Strouch, 2 goals, 2 assists. Michael Hardiman with 2 goals. Ben Shafer and Jackson Brosgol with a goal each. Then defensively, Luke Ingersoll has 5 ground balls and a caused turnover. Alex Strauch, a team-high 4 caused turnovers and 3 ground balls. And Will Drake with 3 caused turnovers to his name. Meanwhile, for Haverford, it's Andrew Arth with a pair of goals, and Sean Mawat Larson, their leading goal scorer, with 2. Blake Brinster has 1, Matt Richards with 1, Jared Heller, Peter Christians, and Michael West all with 1 as well. And Shane Nashin, 12 saves since entering the game at the start of the second quarter in place of Jack Baloo, who got the start on senior day. And right now, Swarthmore looking to send its seniors out on a high, just 40 seconds to go, with a 2-goal lead. Here's a shot that goes high out of the stick of Mowat Larson. .4 left. Pass goes to Brinster. He'll let it go and he scores. Blake Brinster able to get that right hand free. And we've got a 1-goal game once again. 11-10 Garnet, 23.5 to play. So now Paulson and Carlin will do battle once again at the X. It's been Carlin with the advantage on faceoffs in this game. He is 12 for 19, while Paulson is 7 for 19. And a huge win here by Paulson, the senior winning the faceoff and getting the ground ball. But a dangerous pass by Alex Strouch goes toward the sideline, rolls out of bounds. Haverford ball with 10.5 to go. So here come the Fords. It's Graves. Cuts in, pass in the middle, they score! It's Andrew Arth completing the hat trick with just 4.3 seconds to go on the clock. And we are tied up at 11. It's Arth from Graves. For Arth, his 18th of the season. It's his second hat trick of the year. His first one coming against Stevens on February 23rd. And we look to be heading for overtime here at Clothier Field. 2 goals in 19 seconds have this score tied up at 11. Face-off won by Haverford. Long shot goes wide at the buzzer. And we will have extra lacrosse here from Clothier Field. Your score at the end of regulation, Swarthmore 11, Haverford 11. So getting ready for the start of overtime here at Clothier Field. The Fords, trailing 10-9, scored twice in the final 30 seconds to set up overtime. 11-11, first goal wins. And the opening face-off of overtime goes to Haverford. So 4 minutes on the clock to begin overtime. And we'll have a timeout called by Haverford. Just 14 seconds into the overtime period. So shots through the end of regulation, 44-42 in favor of the Garnet. ground balls, 41-39 in favor of Swarthmore. Face-offs, not counting the one they had to begin overtime, were 15-10, now 16-10 in favor of Haverford. And where Swarthmore has struggled today, it's really been one of their strong suits all season long, the extra man opportunities. They are 2 for 6 in this game. They entered action today, converting at nearly 44%, but right now down at 2 for 6. Meanwhile, Haverford is 2 for 3 on the extra man opportunity. Andy Tiso has 9 saves for Haverford. On the other end, Shane Nashin has made 12. And was playing very well in that fourth quarter, but 2 late strikes have us here in overtime. So play resumes with Haverford in the ball in the attacking end. And they go behind the goal. Here's Richards. Gives it up to Mawat Larson. He's driving right on Liam Halstead. Mawat Larson, the team's leading goal scorer, entering play today. Here's Graves driving in. Ball checked out of his stick from behind. And we'll have a push called against Haverford. A Swarthmore player went down. And the infraction goes against the Fords. So Swarthmore withstands the Haverford offensive attack. And now we'll get their first crack at offense here in overtime. Here's Nashin out of his crease directing traffic. Finds Seavold. Seavold has room to drive, but gives it up to Ben Shafer. Here's Strouch. Seavold hits the deck, no flags. Still Swarthmore ball. Here's Strouch. 2 goals, 2 assists in this game so far. Spins away. There's a pass to the middle. Mabs for Hardiman, they score! Michael Hardiman closes out Senior Day in 2022 with the game-winning goal. It comes with 1:37 gone in the overtime, and Swarthmore knocks off Haverford 12-11. And that was a heck of a dog pile right in front of the Haverford goal. As for Hardiman, he gets his 3rd goal of the game. He finishes the season with 27 goals. And it's his 7th hat trick of the season. And it sends the 10 seniors on this Swarthmore team out with a victory. And just going over that list of 10 seniors, Jack Baloo, Dean Ladrito, Will Drake, Ben Shafer, Luke Ingersoll, Liam Maniscalco, Joel Paulson, Quinn Seavold, Will Vespel, and Rob Whitstrom. So those 10 players will go out on a high in their final game with Swarthmore College. So Swarthmore will end the 2022 season 9-7 overall, 3-5 in the Centennial Conference. Meanwhile, Haverford, still with 1 game to go in the season, they drop to 5-9 overall and 1-6 in the Centennial Conference. Von Mabs finished the game with 3 goals and 2 assists for the Garnet. He was credited with an assist on the game-winning goal. Michael Hardiman completed his hat trick with the winning goal. Then Quinn Seavold and Carter Strouch each had 2 goals and 2 assists. Ben Shafer and Jackson Brosgol, a goal each. Meanwhile, for Haverford, it was Andrew Arth leading the way with 3 goals. Blake Prinster and Sean Mawat Larson each with 2. Andy Tiso finished with 9 saves for Haverford. Shane Nashin had 12 saves for the Garnet, and Jack Baloo had 2. So that'll put a bow on the 2022 season for the men's lacrosse team. Once again, they finish with a 9-7 record overall after defeating Haverford on Senior Day, 12-11. Thank you for watching today's game, and thank you for your support throughout the 2022 season. Enjoy your weekend.